we just saved them hundreds of thousands of
Yes,
dollars
we did.
in mistakes, pivoting, changing, and then really what happens, the dream goes to die when you go down the wrong path.
I take this personally. 23 years of my life I spent with Inventor, and I am not here to bash Inventor. They do what they do. They're the biggest company, but they cannot and do not and never have made your product. They're not manufacturers. They're not in the chairs of a manufacturer that has to go out and develop and make it. They could talk a great game, but they can't develop it. You know, it's the same thing. I could say we could do this, but if you've never done it, you can't explain the process. We're manufacturers. When you're coming to us, we're going to have a product made for you that you're going to be able to sell. That's what we're here for. If we're not making the product, we're not taking you on.
I'll answer that from the other side of the coin, right? Bobby was never my competition. That's not the way I saw it. I would answer it this, and it's not just Invent Help, it's all the invention help
Davidson,
companies.
all the other companies, Invention Home, all of them the same.
I would consider that they are our tier 3 type client. And you know, before anybody goes, well, wait a minute, I don't want to be categorized as a tier 3 client. Tier 1, 2, and 3 is just a matter of readiness. A tier 1 client has clear goals. They want to own the product that they developed, turn it into a business, and start selling it in large volume. That is exactly who we're built for. We're an ODM. Actually, we're a unique ODM, which we are an original design manufacturer that takes on unique value proposition products. That's it. So our tier 1 customer comes prepared. They've spent years before meeting us, getting through a process, figuring out what to do, maybe failing sometimes. But now they understand what we offer, that we are, like Bobby said, we're manufacturers. That is our first and foremost goal. A tier 2 client is someone who has maybe already been down some wrong paths or is trying to really discover, has the ability to get funding or has the resources around them to get funding. And we have to help them get organized in a manner to take the step to become a product business.
Sometimes they just don't know.
Right.
They walk into an invention company, they're giving them all these promises. Okay, that's what we have to do. But they don't know that they don't have a product idea.
Well, and so that's a tier 3 customer, someone who doesn't know, someone who's not, you know, I'm not saying they're not educated. They're early on in the process. They're learning the things and they're navigating things. And it is so much easier to fall for things that sound easy. Bobby, what have you ever done in your life that's easy?
Nothing.
Okay.
That is successful.
Right. So if it sounds too easy, you know, read the fine print. And I'm not going to get into that on this podcast, but ask the right questions.
But we don't have fine print.
No, we
That's
don't.
The beauty of it.
Well, because exactly, we're here to deliver products. I am a manufacturer. We are manufacturers. The only way you make money in manufacturing is through volume and scale.
That's it.
And if you see an idea that is good, that is what we want to do more of. Now, the understanding is, look, not everybody's ready for us when they meet us. The tier 3 people, and again, I will happily explain to you, and we're going to have more podcasts of what it takes to become a tier 3 to a tier 2 to a tier 1. It is a natural progression. Some of the services that you can get through the invention help companies, you know, there is a conversation for patenting. I think that it's better suited in the tier 2 process versus tier 3. But the early stage, most people would wake up with an idea, want to feel validated, and will spend a little bit of money to say, I got an idea. Then they'll spend a little bit more money to validate data, and they'll spend a little bit more money. And by the time you do all those little steps, you still have no progress towards your end goal, which is, if you have a good idea, it should be marketed. If you think that you're going to go down a licensing road, that's 2 years of disappointment, and that's just not who we are. Once you finish that process, you become a tier 2 potential for us and a tier 1 potential for us.
I get sad when I get all these clients that come to me that spent already almost $30,000 from having someone to write the idea, to going to a patent attorney really early to spend a bunch of money on a patent attorney, to then paying someone to pay a shell of a prototype that's not even a functional prototype that's ready to be made. That money could go into actual getting your product made, designed, put together, and getting an actual prototype from an actual factory, knowing exactly what we're going to have with actual margins. That's launching a product. That's getting a product going.
Well, look, you're 100% right. So you triggered me there because, you know, yesterday we were on a call together, and, you know, we kind of learned this a couple of weeks ago. We probably touched on it, but everybody will let you develop and design your idea in that invention help space.
Everybody.
Nobody will put the guardrails on you and say that is not manufacturable, or that's not the way it's going to happen. Yesterday we had a conversation. We won't get into details because I know I trigger you now, and you'll go into it. But the idea was to make something sustainable without chemicals, and there's just it's impossible. It can't be done.
Can't be.
So what we did is automatically, if they had called the wrong company or a different company, they would have something designed that couldn't be manufactured. What did we do?
Well, let's just be honest. They paid for a patent attorney to say this thing is patentable
Right,
for a
they already
product
did.
that can't even be made because the patent attorney doesn't know what it takes to make it. He's just
Right.
only going off paperwork.
And so, look at you. You gave me a lot of kudos, and I think it's not turning people around. It is giving them the steps towards actually making something that is sellable.
Realism.
And that's our biggest difference. Like I'm not here to take away from anybody else's business. I want to manufacture things, but I'm also going to be very realistic about how that we approach that. There's only so many things that are of natural material that don't require a chemical or some sort of bonding agent to put it together. We can process those, right? It just means the product changes to that specific process. And that's the major difference. I can design you anything that you want, but if I can manufacture it, if I can't manufacture it, we're just wasting time.
Right. And that's what they had to understand. And they thank God and them to call, they got it and they understood it. And they were like, yeah, that makes more sense.
Oh, I mean, look at whether they move on with this or not, that's
They're moving
still up
on.
to them. I do
No,
believe
they're
so.
moving on with us.
But we just saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars
we did.
in mistakes, pivoting, changing, and then really what happens, the dream goes to die when you go down the wrong path.
Well, it's funny, when we talk realistic with it, our way is packed better, it worked better, it's more uses. They were so happy towards the end because it was a real conversation.
Yeah.
A real conversation. Here's what you guys are trying to do, but look, here's what's going to look at, and look at your whole competition when we can bring more value by tweaking a little.
Well, and the conversation, just so it doesn't get misconstrued here on the world of the internet, the World Wide Web, or AI processing, we didn't turn them around because that's what we want to sell. We actually focused on what the product needs to be that a consumer would buy.
Yes.
And that is the conversation we had. And that's really where can we make that product now? The answer was yes. Is it going to meet their criteria, being all natural and all and there was a couple other value propositions that they wanted to add, and they all made sense. And that was a casual conversation where it was collaborative, right? And that is what we want to do. If that can't sell, I don't want to do it. If they don't believe it can sell, they shouldn't do it. That's just the way it is, right?
I always want to bring up the point, and you taught me this, is that Walmart, let's say Brookstone and Sharper Image sell the same products that Walmart and other stores sell. They just put a different twist on it that you want that twist. Everybody will sell you an umbrella. Well, they'll sell you the umbrella with the lights on it. They'll sell you an umbrella with a little fan on it. And that's the value that you'll pay extra for that product because it's not what they have. And that's what people really want, the special product. And that's what we're here to do, the product people want.
That's all we want to do.
That's it. Sell good products.